Good, man. How are you?
Good.
My head looks very big compared to yours, Joe. I'm much closer to my camera. That must be it. No, it's been a short time no see, Joe. We see each other all the time.
I know. I was telling it was a new agent asking for sage advice. I have, and I said, yeah, Darren's like right second to my wife.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's the same for you.
It's true. Absolutely the case. You know, if you're gonna choose a real estate partner, you better like that person at least most of the time.
Yeah.
I got it. I said that.
All right. Well, look, guys. Thanks for joining us today. It is another live stream entitled "Real Estate Reality" here in Los Angeles with your hosts Darren and Joe over at Urban Hillsides Real Estate. Here to give you some opinions, maybe some wisdom, maybe some knowledge. But we'll be going today through the usual. We'll be going through some topics that we feel are important for this week, some trends, some observations. We'll also go through some top solds over Northeast Los Angeles. That's our emphasis, those communities. And then also some actives that we feel are highlighted that we should all look at and consider. So with that, I will go ahead and go through the legalese a bit. Darren and Hubert and Joe Cloninger are real estate agents at Keller Williams Los Feliz under the Urban Hillsides brand. All opinions expressed by Urban Hillsides or guests on this video are solely their opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Keller Williams Los Feliz. You should not treat any opinion expressed by Urban Hillsides as a specific inducement to make a particular investment or follow a particular strategy, but only as an expression of Urban Hillsides team's opinions. This video is for informational purposes only. All right. So first on the list, let's see, as I do production here, is about refis. And Darren, as I dredge this up,
Right, with FHFA killing what's called the adverse market fee. When refi started kicking up, gosh, we're not lenders, but it's relative to all of our clients, so we're bringing this information to you. A couple years ago, I believe they kicked in this additional fee, which was, I was about to say shitty, but I said it. So, it's not a G-rated show.
I think they call it 50 basis points, but
Yeah, that's how much it is. They just all of a sudden said, oh, look, we have low interest rates. Everybody's going to want to refinance. Let's charge people more. Literally. I don't know what the justification was, and everybody now, for a long time, has been paying the additional, 50 basis points, if you don't understand the lingo, is basically 0.5%. So as good as the rates have been, we've been paying an additional 0.5%, and you don't see it in that layout. Most lenders, not all of them, but most lenders don't charge points, and basically what they do then is they build that into their rate. So if they were going to charge you 3% and FHFA is charging them an additional 0.5% or 50 basis points, then they're not telling you that. They're just saying we're charging you 3.5%. That's the rate, just built in. So when this takes effect, as you're going to read through the article, rates should dip a little more. They should definitely go lower.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead. FHFA kills adverse market fee. Mortgage industry cheers elimination of 50 basis point fee on most refinanced mortgages. The Federal Housing Finance Agency, FHFA, is officially axing Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae's controversial adverse market refinance fee. Starting in August, lenders will no longer be required to pay the government-sponsored enterprises a fee of 50 basis points when they deliver refinanced mortgages. FHFA Acting Director Sandra Thompson said the elimination of the fee will help families take advantage of the current low-rate environment. Today's actions furthers FHFA's priority of supporting affordable housing while simultaneously protecting the safety and soundness of the enterprises, said Thompson. The elimination of the fee is one of a number of changes the mortgage industry has asked the federal regulatory agency to make. Pete Mills, Senior Vice President of Residential Policy at the Mortgage Bankers Association, said the move was very positive for borrowers and appreciated by the mortgage industry. Forbearance exiting process has gone well, the rate of exits is accelerating, and the job market is strong. All of those things belie the notion that we're still in an adverse market. FHFA began charging the adverse market fee on most refinanced mortgages last year due to increased costs and risk to the agency as a result of COVID-19. Critics of the policy, however, said that it was simply a way for the GSEs to increase their capital levels during last year's historic refinance boom. The GSEs have also performed well throughout the pandemic. In the first quarter of 2021, Fannie Mae reported $5 billion in net income, and Freddie Mac reported $2.8 billion in earnings. The elimination of the adverse market fee is one of the first decisive policy actions the agency has taken since a long-awaited Supreme Court decision allowed President Joe Biden to fire the FHFA's director at will. Within hours of the decision, Biden removed FHFA director and Trump appointee Mark Calabria, a libertarian economist, and installed Thompson to lead the agency. In her first weeks directing the federal regulatory agency, Thompson has said expanding access to credit in communities of color is a top priority. In June, FHFA also announced that its servicers must adhere to the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau's additional procedural requirements governing the foreclosure process a full month before it takes effect. So, Darren, we were all about good news in our email subject, and it sounds like there are a couple things going on there.
This definitely sounds like good news, and expanding availability of housing to a broader base and lower income people is the other topic we have today as well. So refinancing just helps keep people in their house and obviously lowers payments and improves quality of life if somebody can do that. So very excited about this happening.
Guys, if you noticed, I went ahead and put it in the comments if you want to read the article later. But again, good news and some foreshadowing, some more good news with this change in the leadership there.
Yeah, and again, just reiterating, I know you said it in there, but this is specifically for refinancing only. This isn't if you're going out and getting a first mortgage. Those didn't have that additional fee that was added.
Okay, and we'll go on to the next one here. Home builders. Home builders urge Congress to address inventory crisis. NAHB CEO Jerry Howard testified before Congress this week. Any comments beforehand, Darren? Or you want to go through it?
No, I think there's a moment to converse about each of the three main segments. So yeah, go for it.
All right, let's unpack. All right, hampered by labor shortages, rising material costs, and government regulations, home builders are looking to Congress for ways to decrease the estimated underbuilding gap of 5.5 million homes and help with housing affordability. The National Association of Home Builders, NAHB, is joining the National Association of Realtors, NAR, in its bid to rectify the tremendous housing shortage in the U.S. NAHB CEO Jerry Howard testified before Congress and called on lawmakers to enact key policy proposals that will help home builders to expand the housing supply, reduce the housing deficit, and improve housing affordability for all Americans. Over the past decades, the residential construction industry has underbuilt and not kept pace with demand due to several supply-side constraints, said Howard. These include a lack of skilled labor and building lots, tight lending conditions, shortages, and rapidly rising prices for building materials, and excessive regulatory burdens on home builders that have added approximately 25% to the cost of a single-family home and 33% to a multifamily unit. Progress must be made on all fronts to ease the supply side challenges that are holding back housing production. What can Congress and the Biden administration do to decrease the underbuilding gap? Howard's requested the following steps to expand access to affordable housing. All right, so number one, fix the building materials supply chain. The U.S. must immediately engage with Canada to adopt a new softwood lumber agreement and stop the imposition of harmful tariffs on Canadian lumber that increase prices and price volatility. Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo has committed to holding a summit of industry stakeholders to examine supply chain issues for lumber and other materials and to explore policy solutions. We look forward to participating in that process, said Howard. Lower construction costs would help lower the underbuilding gap.
Sure, gosh, we haven't heard that word in, 2-3 years, tariffs. I can honestly say I don't know if those tariffs were put in by the Trump administration, but tariffs don't work. Everybody knows tariffs don't work. Our government's collecting more money because of that, but the costs of those tariffs all of them are pushed down to the consumer. So yeah, eliminating those tariffs is a good thing. I completely support that.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was a Trump thing. Right, there was steel that he had tariffs on. That was affecting construction as well.
Yep. Well, I mean, it's a anti-competition. It's a desire to have more local products sold. And, in some cases, as they cited with the steel, there's an uncompetitive advantage if government of other countries are involved to help facilitate and sell these things at a cheaper price, or even help that product be made and delivered without needing a profit from the country, then, U.S. suppliers won't be able to compete. We need to have our own supply and resources, so our industry can't be eliminated. But other than that, our economy says it's about competition, and adding tariffs is not supporting competition.
Okay. Number 2, improve the low-income housing tax credit. Congress needs to enact H.R. 2573, the Affordable Housing Credit Improvement Act, homebuilders said. The bill would finance more than 2 million additional multifamily units over the next decade by increasing the amount of credits allocated to each state and expanding the number of affordable housing projects that can be built using private activity bonds. It would be just one fix for the underbuilding gap.
Right, I do think our government, our system works best when there's a private-public interaction. These days, it's hard to find someone who's conversing from a perspective that truly benefits both sides. But when it comes to housing and the shortage that we've had and the lack of building, because there was so much pushback from government and it made it hard to build, and people don't want more density, we just need more houses, and public-private interaction is going to help make that happen, and we do need it on the entry level. So affordable housing credit on entry level is a way to go. So often it's about taxes that government can inject to help incentivize things to move in a certain direction, and allowing people to get into their first homes is life-changing.
Well, that's the thing. You talk about, you go down the street, you see all sorts of construction, and, private, corporate entities can only do so much, and, they won't take certain risks, and government needs to be there to sort of have that handhold for them.
Of course. I mean, if you're in private business, in housing, it happens as much as anywhere else. People get upset with builders and developers for making money. I mean, give me a break. In all sincerity, give me a break. You're not out there saying, where can I throw my money away? Let me, take on all the risk and not benefit at all. The only way that becomes more equitable is to have a public-private venture there. Or, if there's a public side where they start introducing housing. In the past, that's never worked. I don't know if there's a formula that can make it work going forward. But if it's private entities building things, it's going to be for profit. And unless the government steps in to find ways to make it more affordable, to make these, and they can, both on the local all the way up to the federal level, there are things they can do to make it more affordable to build things. And they can incentivize builders by then insisting that they pass those efficient methods or cost savings elements through to the purchasers in some way. This is where coming from the middle, really find things that help both sides. It's always something I see personally.
Okay, number 3, reformulate current home ownership tax incentives. Recent tax changes have undermined the effectiveness of the mortgage interest deduction, resulting in fewer middle-class taxpayers itemizing and incentives flowing more to high-income households.
100%, I will say the tax structure favors people owning houses. It depends on where you live as far as how much it helps you. Under the Trump tax plan that went into effect a couple years ago, they introduced, limitations on what they called SALT. That was their acronym for it. A total that is deductible on your federal income against interest, property taxes, things related to your house. And they capped that at $10,000. So for those who live in a high-priced area, they're not getting those incentives. For those in a lower-priced area, they moved up, as they're mentioning here, the itemized deductions to a level where if you've bought a $200,000-$300,000 house, you might not need to itemize anymore. So there's really no tax incentive, which is what they're saying here, than to purchase. Are you getting enough out of the purchase if that's the case? I will say, like no time in my lifetime, the Biden administration is evaluating taxes and talking about things like they never have before. Taxes favor people that own property in an incredibly unequal way. They help build wealth, particularly for investors, tremendously. And that's not a bad thing. They're just utilizing the systems that have been created, but the systems can be changed. And then if that's done, it can bring more balance to the entry level and middle class.
It's funny we're talking about this because I was reading something on The Real Deal, and it was talking about a new fund. I believe it was Tricon, and it was a $5 billion fund to purchase 18,000 homes across America. Purely for the rental side of it, and that it's a great asset that they used to not really pay attention to. So how does that leave the smaller guy?
There was something that, like a couple years ago, I think maybe it was pre-Trump, but it was they introduced opportunity zones. I think that was before, but on one there's a good element to it, and then there's a huge incentive for wealthy people. Basically, they've identified areas of and who's identifying them. That's always the question, but they've identified areas that need an infusion of money to build housing, to build shopping centers, to develop these communities that are considered lower income. And if you choose to do that, if you it used to be you would exchange into that. So if somebody sold 50 units somewhere and they wanted to go build 100 homes in a lower income neighborhood, there's a real tax incentive for them to do that. Those are the type of public-private elements that can move things in a direction that incentivizes homes in areas where they could be needed. The one thing I will say, the thing that we hear often, is that you reach a threshold, like I can't imagine, and it doesn't mean it can't happen, but I can't imagine having $300,000-$400,000 houses in LA proper anytime soon, maybe never again. I just really don't see it happening. So there is a point where an area maybe has just moved up too much. So it's not like any of these programs are going to make it so that, somebody working a minimum wage job is going to be able to buy a house. There's always some sacrifices. Maybe you move onto the outskirts a little bit, because there are $200,000-$300,000 houses within an hour of LA. That's where public transportation comes in, and things can work. This is what happens in big metropolitan cities. As long as you have public transportation, you can function, and people can afford to continue to buy still. So there are some sacrifices made, But the tax code is more often than not, and the building codes can also incentivize developers, as they've done with on the state level for ADUs. That's incentivized a tremendous amount of development and brought a lot of infill units into the city.
New industry.
Yep.
Okay, so in conclusion, a shift away from the mortgage interest deduction to a permanent home ownership tax credit that is targeted to lower and middle income Americans would make home ownership more accessible to hard-working American families. Additionally, a permanent first-time homebuyer tax credit would complement this shift and could provide some relief to the challenge of accumulating a down payment.
Right. That would be huge. Huge. People can't even get into buying a home because they can't. They're even if they have a good income, often that income goes towards a high rent. It's a hard situation, and any help is fantastic.
Well, certainly, with Biden jumping in, he seems to want to move quickly on some of these things. Again, good news for buyers.
Yeah, good news for the industry. For obviously, when people buy homes, their perception of their neighborhood and their personal investment and care, what goes into where they live, all changes. It changes those dynamics. So the more people that are able to have a home ownership, and we've been moving in the wrong direction in that category for a while, the more people that can own a home, it's better for communities.
Okay, next. Guys, again, I put the link there for you if you'd like to read this article. Hopefully it will open up in a couple days. This might be a private link. We'll find out. So, Darren, just sort of segueing into our new listing out in Riverside, that was a funny observation as I organized that and went out there. I was the only open house sign out there.
Yeah.
It was the only open house. Like a broad, big part of the neighborhood, there was nobody holding an open house. So definitely speaks to the inventory out there. But guys, if you have a hankering to move to Riverside, like a large house, like a bit of a country feel to your living, this might be it. It's a 5.3, 1 acre home out in the hills in the city. And so the city view there, it's for $549,000.
What?
Yeah, check it out. You can go to the site once again and see a move-in ready home. For, unusual $549,000. Darren, I didn't tell you, but we have 2 new members of the Urban Hillsides team.
What? How can I not know this?
Well,
Are you talking 4-legged members or?
Well, I did some walking today in one of our neighborhoods we do business in, and I had some help. I had my nephew, Santana, and my dog, Tango, and they're already studying for the test. They want to get their license, and they know how to pass out flyers. Of course, Tango's talking to the dogs. Santana was doing what he could.
Right.
Does need a haircut.
Who's going to pass the test first? Is Tango going to pass first or Santana?
I think there's a special dog license in real estate.
Ah, okay. All right.
But they were a big help. Thanks a lot, guys. It was hot out there. We started in the morning. There's still more to do, but good job. Team Urban
Nice.
All right, so I guess we will move on to Souls. Let's see here. So, Darren, we were talking about it right before we got on. What was your observation overall about the market?
Yeah, so we've been talking for a while. Yeah, in this, you're always trying to predict the future in real estate, and all you can do is understand the fundamentals, and as we say repetitively, do what's best for you at that time, and your own personal risk tolerance. So, but we've been seeing for I believe it's about 10 weeks now, and the numbers haven't been enormous, some more than others, but where there's more actives than solds every week, because we're evaluating inventory every week. And that's been revealed as we're going out and showing homes, and whereas we're listing homes, we're not getting as many offers, we're still getting multiples, and our buyers are getting some acceptances. So slight increase in inventory. So this week we have an equal. I think at one point when you first ran the report, it was more solds than actives, but it balanced out as you ran it today. So it's equal, and there's little micro adjustments in real estate all the time. 1 week doesn't mean anything, but we'll continue to monitor it and let you know if there's a shift in a trend over the next few weeks.
Great. So let's get into the first sold. Darren, this is definitely an oddity in some ways. 2312 Baxter. So if we go to
Sure.
Baxter. Let's see here. Let's take a look at the photos. So I'd say it's a bit of an odd bird because of the price. So
Sure.
it sold at $5,700,000. God, I think that's a record, unless the $40 million place sells it. But it's 2312 Baxter Street. It's a 5-bedroom, 6-bath, 7,256 square foot living space, and good sized lot of 14,219 square feet. And it started at $5,995,000. 94 days on the market. But here. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful home. Well deserved. I imagine this would be at least twice on the west side. And this was sold by Karen Lower. Buying agents, and John Grumman. And then buying agent was Lorraine Getz. That's too long. Now, where is this in relation to your place? Is this going towards me?
Oh, that's towards the lake. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry to say, I'm not imagining Echo Park being a $6 million home neighborhood yet.
Well,
Maybe I'm not sorry to say. I'm actually okay with it.
All right, so that's our first one we wanted to feature. The next one. Oh, and I guess the other thing to that was that's a local architect, right? Barbara Bester.
It was, yes.
Next one we have is 2217 Commonwealth. I guess for the last one, what I didn't mention is it went down in price. So that went down a whopping $295,000. Why win? And in that rarefied price point, I guess everybody's winning that. All right, so let me get to this here. So
Fo-
this, go ahead.
Photo 2 on Commonwealth is I'm surprised that they didn't crop that one a little more. It's your little one-story house next to an 8-story building. Um, that's clearly something you had to be accepting of on this purchase.
But
Yeah.
anyway,
Damn
2217
agents.
North Commonwealth Avenue. It's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath. It's 1,846 square feet, and it sold for $1,480,000. And original list price $1,580,000. Days on market 31, and I called that a buyer win. That was represented by Christopher Karayan, Rick Keller Williams, and listing agent 2, Imad Halabi, and buying agent Igal Bakhshande.
I'm glad you're saying that and not me.
But yeah, right, this is north of Los Feliz Boulevard. It's certainly in a good neighborhood. But yeah, there's a little congestion there, like you said, Darren.
Yeah, and some of the things are dated. It's move-in ready. Everything looks clean. The house looks great from the outside. It's nice architecture. Looks like original layout. But it could use some upgrades. So that's
It's
probably
reminding me
win-win.
of a conversation we had earlier today with the buyer considering the place in Riverside, and he wanted to concrete everything.
Yeah.
And I'm looking in this backyard and I see a similar effect.
Yeah. It's a common question for you buyers out there. It's not that complicated to get rid of concrete. You just have to cut it up or jackhammer it, or if you did a retaining wall, just break it into sections where you can stack it. That's also reasonably common.
But I see what you're saying. Yeah, there's definitely some tired tile from the 80s or 90s. And,
Yeah.
some cabinets and some other things. So good for them. We got 100,000. Next one is 3143 Waverly. We're still in Los Feliz.
Ah, $600K up. That was a happy seller.
So 3143 Waverly Drive. Again, it's in Los Feliz, 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,054 square feet of living space, sold at $2,100,000. It's a lot size of 13,076 square feet, and days on market 12. And it originated with a list price at $1,495,000. Brought to us by Eileen Moreno and Laura Moreno, comrades of ours at Keller Williams, Los Feliz. Oh, and George. There's George. And buying agent Vasil Halchev. John Parr. So, riddle me this, Darren. What do you think?
I don't know, man. 2.1 to 2,000 square foot house. Waverly is a great street.
Right.
One of the issues on Waverly is, I think it's the other side of the street. I think it's the even side of the street that you get you look down on the 5 freeway where you get all the noise. Sold property there before. So this is, I'm thinking the quiet side. I would have said it was underpriced. I would have believed that, but not 600,000 underpriced.
2,000,001.
So, good for the seller there, and good for the buyer. It's a great neighborhood, and if they're going to be there for a while, then they'll be happy.
So we are now going to 1933 Phillips Way. I'm trying to remember, did we have a buyer interested in this?
It was possible, but we ended up in escrow on 1933 Sunny Heights.
Yes.
So,
Congrats to Taya.
it was the number that works for them, you know.
Yeah. Okay, so let me get in here. So, 1933 Phillips Way. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,250 square feet. Sold for $1,376,000. Lot size 4,908. Days on market 9. The original list price $1,169,000. And this was presented by Penelope Stipanovich, Sotheby's, and buying agent Andrew Sanchez at Acme. So that was a seller win.
Super charming house.
7,000 over.
Yeah, no, the house is fantastic. I love Phillips Street. It's a great street. The decks are great, looking out onto the view. Yeah, not surprising that it went up. Yeah.
All right, next one is 1363 Brampton. 1363. This is Eagle Rock. Just in Highland Park last, now in Eagle Rock. And this was definitely a seller win, 281,000 over list. Let's go.
It's a big house. 2,400
So, yeah,
square feet.
It's 136. Oh, sorry.
2,400 square feet. You know,
Yeah.
big lot, huge backyard. It shows very
Early
well.
model.
Yeah, yeah. It's white on white with some wood. So,
4-bedroom, 5-bath. Yeah, sold at $1,870,000. Good sized lot, 15,181. Looks like there's an actual yard there, which is good to see. Days on market 13, and the original list price $1,589,000. And this was presented by Lauren Reichenberg, Compass, and buying agents Victor Montesinos and Tracy Doe. So, yeah, it's pretty evident why it went up.
sure, it is.
Minimalist. Staging, remodel.
Yeah, across the board. That's a good way to define it. Even, yeah, the staging, everything was pretty simple, pretty minimal. And it presents that way.
All right. So now, go to actors.
Yeah, that was a good grouping on the sales. Let's look at Avalon. 1539 Avalon.
1539. Darren, how can you hear me? Am I all right?
Yeah, sound great.
Okay, here we are. Guys, we're really good real estate agents, fledgling live streamers. All right, one of one. That's disappointing. But 1539 Avalon Street, 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,154 square feet. And oh no, this is sold. Is it active?
Yeah, you found that. God, I didn't even notice.
There's the ad. See what the 2-1. Still a 2-1. Single family, it is an active listing at $1,899,000. It's on a huge lot, 28,426 square feet of lot. They do have some open houses coming up, 724, 2 to 4, and 725. 2 a.m. Wow, it's a really early open house. It's on market. It's been on there for 4 days, and yeah, wow, I'm still at wow. 1907 was the original build, and this is presented by Patrick Crane and Lorraine Getz.
Right.
Property Solutions and Compass.
Yeah. So this property is a little more about the land. So it's 4 lots total. It's going to have to be a cash purchase at that price. Unfortunately, it doesn't say that, but anybody who's looking to buy a 2-1 for that price, this isn't quite there, and it's also not a completely remodeled house. The additional lots are in a fantastic location, very close to Park Drive, which is the street that divides Echo Park and Elysian Park, the park itself. But it looks on the map that it's not a finished street. So
It talks about stairs.
Right, it looks like a stair street. This is very close to my house, but I've never gone up those Avalon steps before. So you can build on steps, and you have a lot that connects to the street that gives you access to build. I would imagine you'd want to give yourself street access somehow, but there are a lot of creative architects out there. We'll see if they choose to build them on stairs and somehow allow parking. I can't imagine they'd get the amount they want without parking. So
In my 10-second look at this, it would be an expensive bill.
yeah, it's you could end up building 4 houses. Maybe it could be subdivided further. Maybe it's a small lot development. And then in that case, you're building your own private road coming in. Maybe that's more likely of what will happen. I would guess you'd get some serious pushback in that pocket
I was thinking of that.
for a small lot development.
Hill.
Yeah, it's a very it's a tight group in that little pocket there that is mostly anti-development.
All right. One for almost 2 million dollars. What's the next one you want?
Going back here, let's see. All right. Let's do. What about Ave 45, 1709 Avenue 45?
Okay. 1709 North Avenue 45. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,316 square feet on a 9,023 square foot lot.
Sure.
$1,099,000. That's the price. Days on market 7, and let's see, built 1922. And this is brought to us by Rosa Garcia, Division 1 investment.
Yeah, I mean it's a nice neighborhood. The house is reasonably sized and a very large lot. It's a little more of your traditional flip. Some of the finishes are okay. Some of them maybe not as great. But it's a good price for the neighborhood and the square footage for a finished move-in ready house.
I was going to say Eagle Rock alone.
Yeah, for sure.
See where it goes from there. But
Yeah.
What else does it say here? Please send pre-approval. No, it's the next stuff. All right.
do Oban, 1004 Oban.
1004. Let's see. 1004 Oban Drive. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,773 square feet of living space, listed at $1,350,000, and the lot size 8,585, and days on market so far 19, and yeah, still $1,350,000. See what happens 19 days later. This is
It's a
brought
long
to us
time.
by Lisa Tiger at USA Marie Tiger, or Lisa Marie Tiger. I have my glasses, guys. So comments there?
I like the layout. I like the way it's situated up on the hill. It's interesting to see a carport. It looks like the house may have been built that way compared to a garage. It's got a pool. The inside spaces look proportionately nice. 1700 with the 3.2 seems reasonably well laid out. It's got views. It looks like a nice place and appropriately priced.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's got a lot of good things going for it. It's got the mid-century, it's got Mount Washington, it's got a pool, it's got a view, looks in decent shape. Gee, 19 days, what's going on? It's like a decade here.
Yeah, sure.
So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Cool. Well, 4661 Palmero as the next one.
4661.
Kind of watch this one being remodeled. I know someone quite well down near that end pocket. This is, I believe, the last house on Palmero. Wow, I'm kind of shocked with the price. It's a big house, 2,800
It's
square
down
feet.
at the very end.
The last house, yeah. Yeah, but $2.4 million.
Well, there was one across the street that sold.
Yes. Yeah. That was a while ago, maybe 3-4 years ago.
So 4661 Palmero Drive, great view there. 4-bedroom, 4-bath, 2,825 square feet. Wow. $2,388,000. It's in Mount Washington. The lot size 5,961. Days on market 5, and yeah, it says here year built 1991. Assessor.
I'm looking at the photos, and yeah, I see the 90s finishes in a variety of ways. And the railings.
Yeah, this is brought to us by Catherine Olson, all the way from Keller Williams Realty Newport.
Yeah. I do think the struggle here will be the finishes, because the location is great at the end of a cul-de-sac. The size of the house is fantastic. It's patio living. It doesn't have a yard to go out to, but the patio size looks generous. But the finishes are going to hold it back a little bit. I don't think they'll get that price personally.
Maybe slightly under 2.
That's my belief. Yeah. I only had one other, just, the neighborhood that we cover. I think we helped set the price on this one at 1216 Montecito.
I walked by there yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, we haven't done anything to it. It's just dusty and they just threw up a sign. That was it.
Yeah. We talk a lot about being a realtor in this business, and our goal is to help you out, buyers and sellers. But we talk about every little deal being its own little miracle. And this is somebody who we knocked on her door and had multiple conversations with, probably at least half a dozen times. Work that neighborhood very specifically, and trust me, our story isn't unique here. But understanding what realtors go through sometimes can help you have a better relationship with them if when you work with one. And so I'm sure other realtors know her and have walked it as well. But the sad thing is that she passed away. It was an older woman, and so the relationship that we had, it has nothing to do with this sale. It's a probate sale. I'm assuming, well, some heir has found a realtor that they know wherever they're at, and just listed the property with them.
Yeah, I think what they did, so this is listed by Ruben Martinez at Fiduciary Real Estate Services at 949. It's a very cold.
So that can be a relationship from the probate attorney, the variety of relationships and how it gets to who's listing the property. And
what I did hear is that she had one nephew who lived in Texas. So yeah, he had no connectivity
to the neighborhood. Right.
So it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,510 square feet, listed at $960,000. And Darren mentioned we do sales around there. Our last sale was $950,000, so maybe they took a bit of a guide there from our last sale. The lot size 6,906. It's been on the market for 5 days, and I think it's going to go up. I have to say, for an older woman, I think she did some nice improvements.
Yeah.
More space.
It is a cliffhanger. You have to go all the way to photo 40, and it looks kind of terrible in that photo. We could see the backside of this house from the house that we sold recently. And it's very interesting selling those cliffhangers. There are layers. It makes the miracle even that many more steps to navigate. So it's good.
Well, it's beautiful. It's a mid-century, and you guys should go out there and buy it.
And Montecito Heights is fantastic. Yeah. It's what a great connected community. Neighbors that really know each other.
I have to say, doing the open house in Riverside, I didn't know what the activity would be like. I told my wife, gosh, I wish I had more houses to sell. Because everybody has a good story, everybody has a need that's totally valid, and it's tough. I wish everybody a lot of luck out there. We have a 5.5 million unit housing crisis.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Darren, any parting shots as I prepare us to move on the rest of our day? Anything you got?
Nope. No specific theme for the week. I think maybe stabilizing. That's about it.
So we told you about the active listing in Riverside. If you don't want to go to Riverside, you can stay in Los Angeles. Darren, we have that multi-unit coming up.
We do, and multi-units are, an alternative. We often have conversations with people who are thinking about buying, and we talk to them about considering multi-units because it can get you into the market, or maybe you couldn't get into the market otherwise. This particular one is, mid-Wilshire, mid-city area. It's 4 units. 3 of them are townhome style, 1 large unit over 4-car garage. It'll probably be coming out about next week. If you think you may be interested, just send us a quick email or text, and we'll follow up with you, let you know where we're at with it.
We'll mention it next week. Hopefully we'll have some photos midweek, and that's our little nugget for the week. Look out for that. Okay.
Cool.
All right, guys. Take care. Thanks for joining us. And if you see us later, thanks for seeing us later as well. Take care. Have a great week. Bye now.
Bye.
See ya.